Welcome back and welcome into Simple Hoops.
I'm Ryan.
And I'm Rocky.
And today we are breaking down the top 10 small forwards.
Yes, sir. Now listen, we got to bring it up just before every video. Little disclaimer, we're going by 2K positions.
2K positions is what we're going by, not Basketball Reference.
Nope, which would have been more reasonable.
But
we don't like reasonable.
That was a lot of different work that we
just like playing 2K. So, anyways, let's get straight into this list. Honorable mentions, Ryan.
My biggest honorable mentions are going to be Scotty Barnes, Tobias Harris, Michael Porter Jr., and Keldon Johnson.
Interesting, because I only have one of those guys in my honorable mentions.
Oh.
So this goes to show that this list, it's not so much that it was tough, it's that there were so many guys at the end that were basically
interchangeable.
all the same.
Yep.
Like, they're all the same.
Same stats, same efficiency, about the same win totals.
And they're not a lot of, like, all-stars in the small forward category, oddly enough. They all get put at power forward, which is going to be a really tough list.
And they also,
as we always call it.
The small forwards don't really play too many games from
the list they're all injured. But to break down my honorable mentions, I have RJ Barrett.
Yeah.
Franz Wagner. Not Wagner.
Wagner. Okay, yeah.
Michael Porter Jr. as well.
Interesting.
Okay. I wanted to put Scotty Barnes here. He actually only averages like 14 points.
He had a rough second year.
Bad second year for him. He does average like 5 assists, which is nice to see.
Running the point guard next year. Yeah, he's not going to be a small forward on our list.
Obviously, think he has a bright future. He could be top 5 on this list.
Still super young.
Years. But, and then Michael Porter Jr., I wanted to put him on this list. He's another Nuggets guy that gets snubbed.
Me too. I really wanted him. He's just too inconsistent.
Yeah. And he just didn't average like that much points.
It's either him scoring 20 or him scoring 10.
Yeah. And obviously, we are putting playoffs as a factor in these rankings. Didn't have a great playoffs. It was like you said, one night he had 20, next night he had 10. And all other stats mostly went down. Like, except for rebounds, I think went up in playoffs. So, disappointing year for a guy who's getting paid max contract.
Big money.
We're going to go ahead and swap here because I have Franz Wagner in my honorable mentions. You have Keldon Johnson.
Yeah.
I imagine we both have them in our list, obviously.
Yeah, somewhere in there.
So, let's go ahead and get into that discussion. Who do you have at number 10?
At number 10, I have Kyle Kuzma.
Whoa.
Yep.
Actually, okay, this is shocking. Because I said that because I thought you had Franz Wagner at 10.
I do have.
Because I thought that was reasonable, but instead you're unreasonable.
Yep. I have Franz in there somewhere.
Because I have at number 10 your honorable mention, Keldon Johnson.
Yeah.
Now, both do the same thing. Let's be honest.
Yeah.
They both score. Kyle Kuzma's a better, well-rounded player, I'd say.
Yeah.
Both play for teams that were in the lottery. So, disappointing team.
Yeah.
But
teams.
Both players were really good. In fact, I think Kyle Kuzma is better than 10. But go ahead. Tell me why.
I like Kyle Kuzma. And I'm going to get into why he's 10 when I tell you who my number 9 is.
Okay.
But Kyle Kuzma, great basketball player. Little inefficient, but he can score. And that score, rebound, pass a little bit. He does it all. And I think he's a good basketball player. Just not better than number 9.
What I really liked about Kyle Kuzma this year, and I'll go into it later because he's higher on my list.
Yeah.
He's a PRA guy. Like, he gets points, rebounds, assists.
Yeah.
Even a little bit of defense. Obviously not efficient all the time, but he really, was a star in his role in Washington. Well, I guess you can't really say that because they sucked.
Yeah.
But
and that was the hard thing
really
with
the
bottom end. None of them make the playoff. They're all on losing teams. So it was really hard to kind of figure out where to put each person.
Now, the reason I put Keldon Johnson at 10, I want to pull up his points per game because it was actually very surprising. 22 points per game.
Yeah.
Now, that's a lot more than guys that we're about to have above him.
Yep.
And I wanted to put him on the list because he's a guy who no one talks about. I would imagine a lot of people don't even know who he is.
Yep.
That's because he plays for the Spurs.
No, they are about to know who this man is.
I mean, they should. You could say empty stats on a bad team.
Yeah.
And maybe this year with Vic, he drops down to 18.
I don't think so. I like Keldon.
He's a really good scorer, as he's shown this year. And so I had to put him at 10. He had a very underrated season, probably one of the most underrated players in the league this year.
Yeah.
No one talked about him. Jump into number 9. Who you got?
Number 9 is one of my more favorite basketball players.
Yeah.
And I don't think even you know this. Franz Wagner at number 9.
Good job not messing it up.
Yep.
Franz Wagner. I have at number 9. Bojan Bogdanovic.
Ooh, see, I didn't even put him as my honorable mention.
Which is insane.
I'll say it early on. I don't like him.
Whoa, what?
I don't like nothing about him.
Who has beef with Bojan Bogdanovic?
Because the other one on the Hawks is better.
No, he's not. He's literally not. Wait,
debatable.
Is he on the Hawks or is he on the Kings?
No, he's on the Hawks.
Okay, Kevin Huerter's. Oh, they got traded for each other. Kevin Huerter's on the
yeah.
Kings. I always mix them up because they're white guys who can shoot. But
basically the same player.
Bogdanovic is.
No, he is good.
Better.
I just didn't want him on my list. I'll be honest with you guys.
I have Bojan Bogdanovic at number 9 because another very underrated season.
Yeah.
It feels like a lot of these small forwards, they do the same thing. They average about 20 points per game, and no one talks about them.
At least the ones on the worser teams.
Yeah, and Bojan Bogdanovic, right below Keldon, 21.6 points per game.
Yep.
And it was an excellent scorer. Very efficient for the Pistons. And obviously, Pistons, another disappointing season. But
that train's never going to end.
There's a reason why the Dallas Mavericks are really wanting to trade for him right now.
Yep.
And they're willing to give up some serious value just for him instead of getting 2 role players because he's a 20-point per game scorer. Granted, on a team that has talent, but Cade was out. It's just a mess over there.
Yeah.
8 centers.
Yeah.
Their point guard was either Jaden Ivey or Killian Hayes. Who's scoring for that team? I guess it's Bogdanovic, and he did a great job of it. He was efficient. Normally, when you have empty stats guys, they're inefficient. He wasn't.
Yeah.
So I had to put him on my list because I just want to give praise to these underrated guys.
Yep. And that's what I'm about to do with my number 9. Not a lot of people talk about him, just like Keldon Johnson.
Yeah.
He's on a Magic team that hasn't been good or been mediocre for a long time.
Well, they talked about him last year a lot because he was. This is his second year, right?
Yep.
Yeah. So his rookie season, he was one of the best players. Because people are when they do redrafts, they always say he should go 3.
Yeah. But my thing with Franz over Kyle Kuzma is they do just about the same thing. Kyle Kuzma grabs more rebounds.
Yeah.
But Franz averaged 19, 4, and 4 with less minutes, less shot attempts, but still shoots 48%, 36 from 3. And that was the difference with him and Kyle Kuzma for me. Yeah. He also played the most games on my list at 80.
That's what I was going to say.
80 games.
80 games was by far the most out of all the small forwards we had here. And that's really impressive. I mean, you play 82 games in a season, he only missed 2.
Yep.
That's wild. So, a lot of praise towards Franz, obviously. And, he did all the scoring with Paulo Banchero right beside him. Also having
it's going to be
20 point per
very,
game
very nice
season.
Yep.
So
right at 20, I believe.
Beautiful core
very
at the
good
wing
duo
position,
going on over
for
there.
sure.
Some people comparing them to Jason Tatum and Jaylen Brown.
Okay.
From the outside looking in.
I don't think Franz. Yeah, you got me stuck on that one, bro.
No, I
don't think Franz Wagner is Jaylen Brown.
He will be.
He's not a lockdown defender.
He will be.
Okay.
He will be.
He could probably dribble better than Jaylen Brown.
That is true. Let's move on to number 8.
Hey, let's see. Can Franz Wagner go left?
I think he's a lefty.
Man's getting paid. I actually didn't know that. Jaylen Brown getting paid $300 and he cannot dribble. But
well, at my number 8,
and
also a guy that isn't the best dribbler. At number 8, I have someone that I don't even think you have on your list. RJ Barrett.
Oh, no, I don't, because he was an honorable mention.
Yeah, I thought so.
Man's baffled. Man's all confused.
No, I just couldn't remember.
Razzled and dazzled.
At number 8, I have RJ Barrett, mostly just because.
Why?
Because I'm getting into it.
No, tell me.
He's literally
bad season.
He's literally the only one out of my 7 through 10 that has a winning record in the NBA and produces in the playoffs.
That is true.
Even if he's inefficient, 43 from the field, 31 from 3, but he's out there in the playoffs playing good basketball. He might be inconsistent.
Yeah, definitely inconsistent.
But I had to put someone in there that's on a winning team that plays good basketball.
Is almost in the Michael Porter Jr. category, where one night he's on, one night he's off. I mean, I'm looking at his stats, 20 points per game, which is about the same, and he has good defense. Still a young player. And the most surprising thing is there was so much talk about RJ Barrett being liability in the playoffs. His stats are completely identical in the playoffs.
Yep.
I mean, I'm looking at this. Points went down 0.3. Rebounds
that
down
efficiency
0.5.
change at all?
Assists the same. That's the crazy thing. Efficiency, 0.2 difference. 3-point percentage, 0.1 difference. Went up in the playoffs.
Yeah.
I mean,
he also played 73
identical.
games, which is one of the highest on the list once again.
So, in a weird way, he's an inconsistent night-to-night guy, but he's overall very consistent.
He's overall producing about around 20, 5 rebounds with shaky efficiency.
You know, maybe I put him too low, having him in my honorable mentions, but I felt like giving praise to other guys.
Nope, that's fair. That's fair. I wanted to get one winning guy on the bottom of my list.
Yeah. Well, at number 8, I do not have a winning player, and I have a guy who I really didn't know where to put him.
Yep.
I know you struggle with him too. Brandon Ingram.
Ooh. Yep.
Brandon Ingram fell all the way to number 8 for me on this list, and here's my reason why. In a normal year, Brandon Ingram's probably 5, 6. Has the potential.
I'd put him at 5.
He played by far the least amount of games
of
all these players by 10 games. He played only 45 games this season.
Yep.
And it felt way less. I don't know if
it felt like he played like the beginning of the season.
It felt like 20 games.
Yeah.
Just like Zion. He did not play a lot. He wasn't there for the Pelicans at all.
Yeah.
But when he was there, he was hooping.
Yep.
I mean, this man's a scorer 100%. And the most surprising thing about him is he's actually a really good playmaker.
Yep.
What other thoughts do you have on Brandon Ingram, though?
Well, I'll get into that one because Brandon Ingram is my 7th ranked small forward.
Makes sense.
Same position from what you just said. He played the least amount of games. He's super efficient when he does play.
Really good player.
Yep. But the issue is he just didn't play enough games last year to get higher on the list. Like you said, if a normal season, if he played 60, like most people, 60, 70, I would have him around 5.
And wasn't there that like report a month ago about like he doesn't want to play?
There's reports about the Pelicans not want to play.
Oh, okay, no. The report was with Brandon Ingram specifically that he doesn't play when he's like injured.
Yeah.
Like slightly injured. He won't play.
The little ticky-tack injuries, he'll sit out.
And he always gets those because he's, I don't know, he's just
185 pounds.
Yeah, he's just a small guy. But at number 7, I have the player you hated on the most. I have Kyle Kuzma.
That's fair. And
I wanted him really high on this list.
Yeah.
He had a great season in terms of Kyle Kuzma.
Yeah.
He showed that he can be a professional player. Which is not what we expected with that Lakers team.
That's probably the biggest takeaway from this list is that Kyle Kuzma is a professional NBA basketball player.
Listen, man, he's still got the wild Harden.
But no, I know what you're saying. Back in LA, he was
a goof and a gaff.
He was not taking basketball very seriously for
very close to moving to Shanghai. But no, I mean, he's always shown that he can be a good player. And this year, maybe it's empty stats. Wizards obviously suck. And we'll see next year. Maybe he steps it up again. But by far had a breakout season for him.
Yeah.
Very all-around player. On this list, oddly enough, one of the best all-around players.
Yeah.
I think he got the most rebounds. Was him or LeBron?
Yep.
That was really high
up
there.
LeBron and Tatum.
Yeah,
what I'm looking at. Those are the top 3 rebounders.
So, I put him higher because the guys below him, not Brandon Ingram so much, but Bojan Bogdanovic and Keldon Johnson, Franz Wagner.
Yeah.
They're all just scorers in my mind, whereas Kyle Kuzma, he can rebound. He can win you games in other ways.
That's true.
And bring more into the table. So that's why I wanted to put him higher.
Now, I have one question before we move on to number 6.
Of course.
Kyle Kuzma, Russell Westbrook. Drip. Who's got the better drip?
James Harden.
Ugh. I'm going Russell Westbrook.
Russell Westbrook is probably the GOAT of
Fashion.
NBA fits.
Okay. Now we can carry on.
No. They all have shitty
Nah.
fits.
That shit ugly as hell.
Ryan, at number 6.
Yep.
Who you got?
A breakout player from this season.
No.
The one that won most improved player, Lauri Markkanen at number 6.
That's tough. I love Lauri Markkanen.
Yeah.
Because of that. He's not here. I have Zach LaVine at 6.
And that's a fair one.
These guys, they could kind of be interchangeable in a weird way. Lauri Markkanen, big surprise that he's even on this list.
He had an incredible season.
I mean, we thought that he was just like a failed rookie.
After Cleveland?
Yeah.
After that Cleveland run, I thought it was over for him.
And that's why I have him higher, because Zach LaVine, in my opinion, had a oddly disappointing season.
Yep.
I mean, a lot of what I'm ranking him on is just the fact that he's the best player in the Bulls, and the Bulls had a disappointing.
Is he better than DeMar DeRozan?
It's between DeMar and him.
It could flip-flop, but I'll give you that. He is the best.
Because that's also why he wasn't an all-star. It's because DeMar got the nod over him, and I don't know who deserved it more, who's better.
I think they should just blow up.
Blow up? Man, Ryan's supporting mass terrorism on the Simple Hoops podcast.
Brought to you by Squarespace.
Brought to you by Lockheed Martin.
Anywho. No, I think the Bulls should blow it up. I hate that team.
No,
I hate
100%.
them. Sorry, Kenny, for real. Your team sucks.
He wants them to blow up too, I think. But no, I think Zach LaVine had a very disappointing season. There isn't much to say. He wasn't even an all-star. Yeah. He didn't perform that well in the play-in. Couldn't get that play-in spot. Or the playoff spot, obviously. It wasn't an all-star. Did I just say that? I don't know.
You've just been repeating the same thing like 7 times.
I don't know what I'm saying anymore. I think Zach LaVine had a disappointing season, and he could be better on another team, so trade him.
My reason for Lauri being where he is, it was him and Zach, for me, were interchangeable.
No, yeah, they were for
in
me
terms
too, in all
of
seriousness.
About the same amount of points.
Mm-hmm.
Lauri grabs a lot more rebounds. Zach does the passing.
Mm-hmm.
They both can shoot the 3-ball. They're both efficient. But I have Lauri here just from his breakout. He's one of my favorite players to watch.
Are you worried that it doesn't happen next year?
I think it will happen again, but I don't think he'll be at the level that he's at right now.
I think he might be like a Julius Randle. He has a breakout season. He goes down.
Yeah.
And then maybe he comes back.
I don't think he'll fall in a crazy way, like not being the leading scorer, but I think his points will fall a little bit with all the other people they have trying to get on the team.
They don't have guys that will be better than him next season. I wouldn't say.
No.
But they have a lot of guys that gotta get minutes.
Yep. A lot of guys that want to shoot.
At his position too.
A lot of guys that want to prove themselves.
I mean, his minutes might just go down based on the fact that there's 12 power forwards on that team.
There is a lot.
Because Danny Angel is his power forwards.
John Collins.
We're already talking about it. Let's go to number 5. We got flip-flopped.
Yep.
I got Lauri Markkanen.
I got Zach LaVine.
Now listen, I want to give Lauri Markkanen some praise.
Yep.
He had a breakout season.
Yep.
Most improved player.
Yeah.
Got into the All-Star game. That is the craziest thing about Lauri Markkanen.
Probably because it was in Utah, but...
Yeah, he had the Utah bias, but really, he had such a good season. And one of the craziest things I could not believe, and possibly that's just because the next 2 guys on the list are people who don't care about the regular season.
Yeah.
He was number 3 in scoring in the regular season. In this list, in small forwards.
He had a
only
crazy
people that scored
season.
more was LeBron and Tatum. So 25, 26 points per game. Really impressive for a guy that showed that he also can do more than just score.
Yep.
So I got him at number 5. I want to give him my praise.
And at number 5, I have Zach LaVine. He's a great basketball player. Look at him.
He can dunk. Winner.
2-time? 3-time? 2-time?
I don't remember.
He can dunk. He can do everything on the court but play defense. Let's be real. Let's get down to the nitty-gritty of simple hoop basketball. Zach LaVine can do anything on the court offensively. He's not the greatest defender.
What's weird here is that everyone on this list is a bad defender and just a scorer.
Yeah.
In different ways.
Definitely the bottom end. Once we get into the top, there'll be a little bit more defense going around.
Other than RJ Barrett.
Yeah.
He's the only guy
on my list that I would say is a good defender.
Yeah.
Maybe Brandon at times.
Our top 4, this is the elite of the elite here. In my opinion, this is where the new tier starts.
Yep.
Ryan, who you got at number 4?
Number 4, I have a player I don't really like, but you have to respect him. Jimmy Bucket at number 4.
Now, you say you respect him. You put him at 4.
Yeah, because he's a good basketball player.
I mean, a lot of people will be putting Jimmy Butler at number 1 after the playoffs the other year.
Did you put him at what?
No. No. Definitely
Who do you have it for before we get into it?
I have Kawhi Leonard at number 4.
That's
now,
fair.
This is tough for me. I'm a big Kawhi Leonard lover.
I love me
obviously.
some Kawhi Leonard.
I don't even know where you are.
I don't even know where he at. He in the basketball.
Poor man gets paid. No, but
Who was your number 4 again?
I have Kawhi Leonard at number 4.
Poor man get paid.
Obviously, I'm a Kawhi Leonard lover, and I want him to be at number 1 on this list.
You love Kawhi?
Oh, yeah.
Dude, I can't get through the top of this list. I feel too goofy.
No,
Why do you love Kawhi Leonard?
I loved Kawhi Leonard because he is
A basketball freak?
It's so weird because the Clippers should be like the best team ever because they have 2 of my favorite players.
Yeah, 2 perfect basketball players.
Kawhi Leonard's like the guy you just want to be.
You want to be Kawhi? Yeah.
Yeah, I want to be Kawhi.
Me too.
And it's chill.
Dude, he don't care. He just goes out there and hoops.
He's arguably one of the best defensive players in the entire league.
Yeah.
And he has shown that he has a really, really like dominant scoring game as well with his defense. And I want to put him at number 3, number 2. But the reason I can't is just because he doesn't play in the regular season. It's all this like load management. And listen, I'm all for load management.
Are you really?
If you play 50 to 60 games, but you play in the playoffs, I'm for it.
That's fair.
But he didn't even play in the playoffs because he plays 2 games, dominates. Some of the best basketball I've seen in a minute.
He was turning back to Spurs, Kawhi Leonard.
He disappears.
Yep.
He gets injured once again. And that's what happens over and over and over again with Kawhi Leonard and Paul George. They don't play the entire season with their 12-man roster to make up for it. Then the playoffs come, and they just don't play.
Yep.
And
all that load management just for them to get injured.
Kawhi Leonard was dominant in his minutes that he played this year.
Yep.
Also, he played 52 games, okay? Wouldn't you agree the first 15 to 20 games were 20 points per game? Not 20 points. 20 minutes per game?
Yeah. Early on, when he first came back, he was doing some
weird... He would only play 20.
It was some weird load management where he would play like 18, 20 minutes.
Now, I'll give it to him. He got up to 33 minutes per game.
Yeah.
And for the regular season. But for those first, few months, he was only playing 20 minutes per game off the bench.
Yeah.
Just barely playing. And I really don't see why he has to go to that extreme because it seems like he does get to the playoffs and then he just breaks because he hasn't been playing basketball.
Yep. He's not prepared for the playoff intensity.
It seems like his head's not in the game in a weird way for a guy who's all about basketball.
But I have similar reasoning for number 4.
Yeah, they're very similar.
Kawhi, Jimmy Butler, they both don't care in the playoffs. But the difference...
No, regular season.
Regular season.
They don't care about playoffs.
They don't care about the playoffs. Well, obviously Kawhi didn't. He wasn't out there. He could have played through his torn ligaments.
He had, really good games.
Yeah. But the same thing, I just like Kawhi better. I think he's a better basketball player.
Me too.
I think that he had just around the same season. Mm-hmm. If you consider playoffs, you can put Jimmy above him. But I think I like how my list turned out. But it was hard with 3 and 4 because neither one really cares about the regular season. They just want to win championships.
They're almost identical in their personality and mentality because they don't care in the regular season and then they overperform in the playoffs. Both these guys dominate and turn it on when the playoffs come.
They are some top playoff stars.
And that's the reason why I have Jimmy Butler at number 3.
Yeah.
It's because he had some of the best performances in NBA playoff history.
Yep.
Was it 50-point game?
I believe so. He had a good bit against the Bucks.
3-1 against the Bucks.
Yeah.
Completely dominated. And obviously after that point, he had the ankle injury and he kind of coasted. which is crazy that he coasted with Gabe Vincent and Caleb Martin.
Yep, they carried.
And they torched your Celtics.
They carried the Celtics.
But he had a very dominant playoff stint this year.
Yeah.
And I think that deserves praise, even if he only ended up having 22 points per game.
Yeah.
Not an all-star. He wasn't playing a ton of games. Simply because Jimmy Butler had such a dominant playoffs. That's why I put him at number 3. He played in the playoffs.
Yep.
Compared to Kawhi.
That's fair. That is fair.
That's why I have him higher. He carried, in a way, he carried the team to the finals. Obviously, the Heat are an anomaly, and Gabe Vincent and Caleb Martin are probably 1 year tortures. 1 year greatest shooters of all time.
Yep.
Steph and Clay.
Only against the Celtics, and then they disappear against the Nuggets. But, you know, it is what it is. It's basketball.
That's basketball for you. But no, you got anything to say about Kawhi Leonard at 3?
Because, as Kawhi Leonard would say, board man gets paid.
All right. Well, I believe our number 2 and our number 1 are the
Can I announce
same.
number 2 and you announce number?
Go ahead.
Okay. At number 2, we collectively have LeBron James.
LeBron James. Yes, sir.
At age 38, season
At age 38,
20, 21.
And he scored a lot this year. He scored 28. After last year, I thought it was going to be over because he averaged like 30 last year.
Every year, he stays up there in the high 20s.
Yeah, he did a really good job. Now, I will say, playoffs come around. In a weird way, he disappointed.
Yeah.
Which you never expect. I think that he had like a toe injury at the end of the season.
He also
that affected him.
Also, 38 years old, playing a good bit of playoff games.
He had Dylan Brooks guarding him. That's obviously a very hard
Dylan Brooks
thing to
poked
deal
the
with.
bear.
LeBron had a very good season. This is the year that he took the mantle of number 1 scorer of all time. You got to give him his praise for that, obviously.
Made history.
Playoffs, he was there, and he was contributing in ways that he didn't normally. He had that 20 and 20 game in the first
He shows different ways. LeBron's a winner. Yeah. And if he's not scoring, he's going to do other things to affect basketball.
Find a way to contribute. 100%. So LeBron has to be number 2 because who we both have at number 1, future MVP.
The greatest
Celtic?
I'm going to say it. The greatest Celtic of all time.
Blake Griffin.
Jason Tatum.
Yes, sir.
Oh, I love me some Tay-Tay.
Tay-Tay. Don't ever call him Tay-Tay, bro.
Hey, that's what the Celtics fans call him in Boston.
Man be laying on his bed watching Tatum highlights, kicking his feet in the air.
Hey, I'm like the Wolverine little meme. I'm just looking at a picture of Tatum.
Yeah, that's you
constantly.
Every night.
When he dropped 51 in Game 7 to make history this year.
Which Game 7 was that? Was that
Philly?
Oh.
Yeah.
I'm not a Philly fan.
Oh, so he was this year. Do not let him.
Whoa, okay.
This year he wanted Philly.
Partial Philly fan because I like Harden, but now I've dropped that because they disappoint me.
Yeah.
Every time I watch.
Bandwagon.
But we are steering from the point that Jason Tatum is the greatest small forward in the league right now.
Yep.
But no, Jason Tatum, he's at this top tier, just like how Devin Booker was in the shooting guard list. I think you would agree.
Yep. I feel like
just by far the best.
I think Jimmy and Kawhi could catch up to him if they put focus on the regular season. But Tatum does it regular season, postseason. Wherever he's at, he's playing good basketball, unless it's the finals against the Warriors.
Hey, but that was last year. We don't have to count that.
He also played some of the most games this year at 74.
Very impressive. A ton of games played by him. And, like you said, the guys below him could be better than him.
Yeah.
That's why I said this top 4 is really just elite players.
Another level.
But he had a almost MVP season.
Yeah.
It kind of died down.
Early on, he was up there in the MVP, but
averaged 30 points per game.
Yep. Also, the only person on this list that made the 50-win threshold, or at least on my list.
Are you serious?
Yep. Everyone else, the other highest was RJ Barrett at 47, and Tatum did win 57 games, or the Celtics won 57.
Okay, so the moral of the story is we do a top 50. None of these guys make it.
No.
Because they're all on terrible teams and did not contribute.
Let me tell you, if we did a top 50, it would be Nugget player, Nugget player, Nugget player, Nugget player, Nugget player. Because we love the Nugget. Giving some love to your friend on the couch.
Now listen, if the Celtics were in the finals, you'd be saying the opposite thing.
Oh, yeah. If the Celtics made the finals, I mean, this dude's talking about Jokic being the greatest of all time, but he don't want to say that on camera. He don't want to say it on camera.
Jokic is the best player in the league currently.
Yeah.
Oh, now you agree with that.
Yeah, he is the best player in the league right now.
Oh, because you were like,
not the GOAT.
Giannis is literally better than Jokic.
You can make the argument. You could make the argument.
You could. But right now, one's a winner and one has a shaved head.
Hey, it's not a failure. It's not a failure if you lose. It's only a failure if you don't take away the.
He literally lost in the first round.
What was his post-game interview? It's not a failure if you take away something good from the failure.
Yeah, it was something like you're not gonna win every season.
Yeah.
So.
But guess who did? The actual GOAT, Bill Russell. Bill Russell is the GOAT.
12-time champ, or is it 11?
11 and 13 years. Anyways, we're getting off topic. This is the end of the video.
We don't even want to talk about Jason Tatum. If you guys are still here, make sure you comment Bill Russell MVP season next year.
What season was he MVP?
I don't know, 1928.
1980s.
No, if you're still here,
like the subscribe button.
I want you to comment.
Subscribe the like button.
What should they comment?
Comment
Jason Tatum retires.
MVP season next year. Jason Tatum MVP season 2024. Comment it. We'll pick one of you, shout you out in the next video.
Lock it in. Free shirt.
Free Simple Hoops t-shirt. We've got some stuff on the way. Keep a lookout.
Simple Hoops boys. We'll see you in the next one.
Adios.